Another good biceps exercise to throw into your workout is what's called a Scott curl, or sometimes called a one-arm preacher curl. And with this exercise, what you're doing is you're using the back of the bench to create a firm surface that you can't really move against. And so that's, if you have problems in other lifts with your elbows always moving when you're doing these bicep curls, this bench here allows you to kind of lock that position in place. And all I have to do is go down and then come back up with it. So it's a pretty easy lift to do because you can't really cheat with it too much. There is one way you can cheat, however, and it's in your setup. What you want to make sure you do is at the top of your bench, whether it's a preacher bench or in this case it's an incline bench, you want to have your armpit right on top of it and not have just your elbow sitting here like this on it. When I'm sitting like this and doing it, it's really easy for me to kind of move my body around or to hunch my shoulder up and things like that. So make sure you're sitting right down on top of it, get down nice and low. That way your shoulder really can't do anything because it's locked into place on this bench. The other thing I want to mention for you is how this lift is a little bit different than a standing biceps curl. Let me show you why. In a standing biceps curl, when I'm standing here like this, when my arm is at a 90-degree angle here, that's when the torque is the highest on my arm by the weight, or by my elbow specifically by the weight, because that's when this length is the longest right here. In a Scott curl here, it was 90 degrees when I was doing a standing biceps curl, but here, when my arm is parallel to the ground, you can see I got a larger than 90-degree angle here, which means that my biceps gets worked a little differently in a lift like this than it would, say, a standing biceps curl, because now all of a sudden the resistance, when it's highest on me, is at a lower, or at a greater angle, or lower dumbbell position than when I was doing a standing curl, which is more like this position. So by changing the angle at which you do your Scott curls or preacher curls, you can emphasize different parts of your biceps. And that's one of the beauties of doing dumbbell lifts. You can manipulate that torque of the weight a little bit by how you do the lift.